Scotland came into this match in more confident mood than they've been in years ahead of a Calcutta Cup game. Having come so close in the World Cup, coach Vern Cotter made two changes from the quarter-final match against Australia: Matt Scott and John Barclay in for Peter Horne and Blair Cowan. The home team seeking a first RBS Six Nations win against the old enemy since 2008. Having finished runners-up in the championship for the last 4 years, the hope amongst England supporters was that new coach Eddie Jones would be able to bring this team to the top of the table for the first time since 2011. Jones resisted the option of including Jack Clifford, Ollie Devoto and Paul Hill, all three potential debutants on the bench instead. George Ford got the nod at out half, with Owen Farrell lining out in the centre. Both coaches said it would be a tight game pre-match, and so it was proving in the early stages. But 13 minutes in, the deadlock was broken. England coming out on top from a 5-metre scrum. Billy Vunipola denied, but Saracens' second row George Kruis forced his way over the line from close range to open the scoring. Nothing the Scottish defence could do to stop the 6'6" Kruis from getting over the line. Farrell, despite playing 12, was on kicking duty, and he slotted the conversion over to give England a 7 points to no score lead. It was important that the Scots scored next, and that's what they did in the 17th minute, when captain Greig Laidlaw fired a penalty from over 40 metres out between the posts to narrow the deficit to just 4 points. Approaching the half hour, Laidlaw had another chance when Ford held on too long, and the referee's whistle sounded. But this time Laidlaw pulled his kick wide, and it remained 7 points to 3. Scores were hard to come by in a punishing first half, but a few minutes before the break, the Scottish pack overpowered their English counterparts in the scrum, and although Vunipola came away with the ball, England were under severe pressure in front of their own posts. Great work by the Scots at the breakdown, and Joe Launchbury was eventually penalised by the referee for holding onto the ball in the ruck. It gave Laidlaw another chance to narrow the gap further. It was just the sort of kick the Gloucester man was never going to miss, and it was back to a 1-point game. England 7-6 ahead. Just before the break, the Scots had a chance to go in with a lead, but after going through a number of phases, Finn Russell tried an ambitious drop goal attempt, but a bit like Parise in Paris earlier, the kick was well off target, and the visitors led by a point at half-time. Early in the second half, England extended their lead with a really beautiful try, a wonderfully worked score with Ford, Vunipola and Farrell combining before Jack Nowell charged over in the corner. Nowell was amongst the try scorers against Scotland in last season's win at Twickenham, and this was another for the Exeter Chiefs winger scrapbook. The softest of hands from Maku Vunipola created the overlap. England 12-6 ahead. Just past the hour mark, England stretched that lead to 9 points when the reliable Farrell, from about 40 metres out, put his kick between the posts to make it 15-6. Every score crucial in a hard-fought and tightly contested encounter. With a little over 10 minutes to go, there was renewed hope for the home side when Courtney Laws was penalised for offside, and Laidlaw fired the resultant kick over the bar from a central position. It was a pressure kick, but the captain held his nerve and it was back to 15-9. But Scotland, looking to beat England for the first time since 2008, were unable to trouble them in the closing stages, and still have to look back to 2004 since they last scored a try at home to the English in the championship. It's now 9 wins in their last 10 RBS Six Nations outings for England, and a first success under Eddie Jones. They face Italy in Rome next time. Scotland travel to Cardiff to take on Wales. But the chariot rolls south with the Calcutta Cup in hand. Captain Dylan Hartley presented with the trophy after the game. Final score at BT Murrayfield: Scotland 9, England 15.